Welcome back to Crunch Time Live. It's week
What's
8.
going on?
My name is Wednesday Adams, and I'm here with my co-host, Soka. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing exceptional, my friend. Happy Halloween to you.
Yes, this is a special Halloween edition, as you can tell with your eyes. And we're ready. Yeah, just explain a little bit for the people that may not be aware that it is Halloween, and that's why we look like madmen. Yes.
Yes. So today is October 31st, and if you live under a rock, then you may not know that today is Halloween. Today is the day where us children dress up as strange things and get candy for free. Sometimes books, sometimes pencils. Those people can get out of here. I want my Snickers. I want my Kit Kat. I want my Reese's. I want all this freaking candy. Don't give me anything else besides candy. You give me pretzels, I'm throwing them back in your face. All right. We are here. We are dressed up. We are festive. I didn't tell anybody about this. I don't know if you told anybody about this, but this is a surprise for everybody watching. I mean, like, why not dress up for Halloween? It's Halloween. I have this costume. I might as well wear it and look fucking good.
Yeah, it kind of blindsided me, and I had to improvise a costume, but I think it looks good.
Hey, it came out.
So
you look hot. I'm not
we're gonna roll with it.
To be honest, you look pretty good.
All right, let's get this started, shall we? Player news. I mean, questionable tags have been a little bit soft this season. I think the past 2-3 weeks have been just a bunch of questionable guys that will likely play. What do you have for me?
So for the questionable guys, for 1 o'clock, I have Devontae Parker, who's likely to play, but currently listed as questionable, and T.Y. Hilton, who they are hopeful will play. It's not as clear cut as Devontae Parker. It looks like it's going to come down to a game time decision. But for the 1 o'clock games, that was all I found that was pretty important. For later on, for Sunday Night Football, Michael Gallup was possibly going to come off IR for this game, but it looks like he's probably out. And the only significant injury that has been cleared and active is Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb will be playing this week for 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, for sure. Also expected to play, according to Schefter, is Jerry Jeudy, who has been activated and did practice. So he is also expected to play. Mm-hmm. And that's big for your sleeper, right? We'll keep that as a surprise. But that's good.
Yeah.
Also, Deebo Samuel is expected to play.
Trey Lance is active, not like he's starting, but it's nice to know that he's at least back. There's speculation that Garoppolo doesn't have much time left, and it could be Lance stepping in soon. So it's nice to see him be active. And then on Friday, Antonio Gibson was taken off the injury report, so he's in this week. And Austin Eckler has put himself in fantasy lineups and has self-declared himself to be in this week. So people were worried about that after, I believe, missing practice on Friday. I don't have Eckler anywhere, but it's always good to see your guys throw themselves in their fantasy lineups. So
yeah, that was pretty cool
doing it as well.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I have him everywhere, so that was nice. Also, kind of surprise, quote unquote, active is Rob Gronkowski, who is expected to play as well. So you can hopefully plug him into your fantasy lineups. Now, one guy with a questionable tag that is a little bit more worrying is Dak Prescott. They say he's a game time decision, but the entire practice week, the more recent days, Cooper Rush has been taking the starter reps, and there has been no announcement yet, but we don't know. If you have Dak, prepare to pivot. Like, if you don't have a backup QB, pick up one and put him in your lineup, because unfortunately Dak is one of the early games, I believe. Oh
Dak
no,
is
no, I'm
Monday Night
sorry.
Football.
Yeah, so even worse.
Yeah, I
So
think
if he's no go, you have no one left.
I I'm not an insider source. I don't know anything about the situation. I don't see him going. All of unless it's a bait of some sort, but all of the news has been like Dak wants to go, but the coaching staff and the organization doesn't want him to go. It's a long season. They have a pretty good hold in the NFC East, to my knowledge. Um, I think they sit him out personally, but I don't know anything. Coaches say one thing and then they do the other. So who really knows? But I'm starting Matt Ryan over Dak this week just because I don't have an option. Like I'm not going to go pick up Cooper Rush.
Yeah, no, for sure, no.
I don't think that's worth it. Um, I mean, a good replacement, even though I didn't do him as my sleeper, but Daniel Jones on Monday night, if he were to be out on waivers and you found out about Dak last minute, um, he's someone I would consider scooping up, but that's really your only other option unless you're going to get
Yeah,
Cooper Rush. So,
yeah. I would say pivot right now. Be
yeah,
prepared.
I'm on the side of caution for sure. I don't expect him to play myself.
Absolutely, I agree. I pivoted to Trevor Lawrence, who was available in my waiver wire. So I'm starting Trevor Lawrence and just forgetting about Dak because I do not want to sit on a fat zero at the end of the week. Just to wrap up this segment, I'm going to list some of the confirmed out players for this week, which include Antonio Brown, which we knew early in the week. Very sad. Taysom Hill, Christian McCaffrey, of course. Chris Evans, who is relevant because now
Mm,
Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine have the backfield to themselves, and that could be just a slot fest for running backs. We'll get to that in a second. Zach Wilson, same reason.
hmm
Julio Jones, Miles Sanders, Deshaun Jackson. Ooh, I said that weird. Eric Ebron, and De'Ami Brown and Curtis Samuel are also out.
Cool.
So, all right, let's get to some questions. What do you think about that?
I'm down. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm
Well,
fired
it's not
up.
a question, but I'm just gonna display it because it's worth it to
Well,
display.
he's not wrong. Look pretty good. I mean, look at us.
Look at that. The costume worked. I'm tricking people out here. All right, Alejandro. Full PPR. Judy, Crowder, Waddle. Set one. Oof.
I'm sitting Crowder.
That was my first instinct as well, but I was thinking, like, obviously they're going to be down. If it's full PPR, do you not want the guy that's going to get 1,000 targets in comeback mode because there
I
are
think
no other wide receivers healthy?
I I don't. I don't. I've been playing the Crowder game for a couple weeks, and I know Corey Davis wasn't hurt while he was running around out there, but I think Waddle is the same thing, and I know that the Bills. I mean,
Yeah, the
when
Bills
we
are
get
good.
in, when we get into my sleeper and my bust, like we'll talk about that. But um, I just think Waddle I think is just more of a target hog, even if Parker's back, and if Parker's not back, then he's in the same situation as Crowder. I mean, Mike White, is that the quarterback for the Jets right now?
Yes, it is.
I don't care who they're playing. I don't I don't want to trust a Jet. I mean, the Dolphins aren't much better, don't get me wrong, but Waddle in a PPR has had a great floor. Even if his yardage hasn't been great, he's been getting pretty solid usage, and I'm a I'm a big Judy fan. I think he's the guy to own on that team. They're both good. I'm not discrediting Cortland Sutton. I think Judy comes back and just finishes where he left off with 6 catches and 7 targets and a half or whatever the hell he was doing. I just think Crowder's the odd man out here. I think it is close. I can understand a case for sitting. I expected to say Waddle, but I don't know what you're gonna say. Um, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Mike White's not who you want. So at the end of the day, you're gonna sit Crowder. I would start Judy and Waddle just upon further
like
evaluation. You don't
I,
want Crowder.
I think you have to temper expectations for Waddle because of his matchup, but I think regardless of the matchup, you have to temper expectations for Crowder. So like I'll take a bad matchup over a bad situation um more often than not. So
For sure.
I'm sitting Crowder in this one.
Yeah. All right. So we agree. There you go, Alejandro. Good luck with that. Now we got Daniel England. Schultz or Higby half PPR. I'm personally going Higby here. What do you think?
Mm,
I mean, that's the same thing with are you trusting that Cooper Rush is going to target Schultz the way Dak would, or Even if that
Mm,
goes, you have that worry in the back of your mind all the time. And Higby's primed for a big week.
yeah. I think it's tricky just because of the usage that Schultz has been getting. I mean, Higby's been dominating snaps and he's been dominating the tight end targets. Like there's no contest there for sure. It's just that he's not constantly productive as much as Schultz has been. But I mean, you do prove a good point. It would hurt me to sit Schultz, but if you don't think Dak is playing, if Dak is playing, I'm going Schultz 100%. I just want to make that
Yes,
clear.
but we don't have that
But we
confirmation.
won't know.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with Higby. It definitely scares me because I feel like he's not going to get the volume that Schultz will get. But you know how tight ends go, man. If they get in the end zone, they're in the top 10 minimum.
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Higby's got a shot. We know that Rams offense is rolling. I'm okay. I'm okay with going Higby here. I would go Higby over Schultz.
Yeah, I agree. Higby is 10th in targets and first among tight ends in red zone opportunities. He just hasn't converted most of those opportunities, so he's 12th in points. However, they get something that is almost always true in fantasy is that production will follow volume, whether it's exactly at the same time or a little later, because well, luck plays a factor. So I'm gonna follow the volume against the Texans defense, who are second in points allowed over average to the tight end. So if there's one week for Higby to bounce back, is this week. I'm going with Higby, Daniel.
Sure.
So good luck with that. Just as a reminder, if you're watching on Twitter and want to ask questions, you have to go on YouTube for me to see those questions. I cannot see the Twitter questions right now. Brodo Fantasy on Twitter, or if you have the Brodo Fantasy app, there's a link in there as well. So go ask your questions on YouTube. Now we have one from the man, Matt Ward, who says 10 team IDP Dynasty League, 4 point. He gives all the info. He's great. 4 point passing TDs, -2 for interceptions. Start Heineke or Bridgewater. You want to take this?
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. The last
Oh,
time
no.
on this show, I made a claim. Last time I was on the show. I said Taylor Heineke, lock for production. Dude's gonna be awesome. Ever since then, love the guy. Love the guy. Love him. Love him. Heineken should sponsor him. They really should. Anyway, I'm gonna go Bridgewater, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate saying that I have to go Teddy Bridgewater, but the matchup against Washington, against Taylor Heineke, is just far too good for me to pass up. I mean, like they're allowing an average of 26.6 fantasy points to quarterbacks so far this year. If you don't know, Teddy Bridgewater's my sleeper. Matt knows. I have a theory that that's why he's asking this question. Maybe not. Maybe he's actually curious. He was asking it earlier in the week. But the matchup is awesome. I mean, quarterbacks that are playing against Washington are averaging, I think it's like 32% higher points than they normally average, which means that it's just like they're any quarterback going against Washington is absolutely kicking ass. And the addition of Jerry Jeudy just makes it better for me. I'm going Bridgewater. I don't like Bridgewater. He throws with 2 gloves. His helmet is way too big. Listen,
Yes,
he's got no swag. I don't think he's very good. But in this scenario, in this week, if there's any week in the year to start Teddy Bridgewater, it's this week. You know, he has 4 top 15 finishes in 7 weeks. So like, and two of them are QB1 performances, even though they're 11 and 12 overall. So I'm going Bridgewater. I like Heineke. I just think the Denver defense is better. I think Bridgewater is just he's just got to be better. He's got to be better. I don't like it. I can't stress that enough, but that's my pick.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you. I would go Bridgewater as well, and mainly because he convinced me. So there you go, man. Hopefully you beat that Brodo brother, because it's just a crucial part of the info here in the question. We got one from Joe Arias. Great guy. Let's check it out. Terry, Deontay, Sutton, Gainwell, pick 3 full PPR. I mean, not thinking about it too much. I'm sitting Gainwell. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't like sitting Gainwell.
Not
I
me
think
neither,
I,
but
I think the matchup is good. But word on the street is that Jordan Howard is going to be activated and
yeah, that's awful.
stealing touchdowns as he does. So, the PPR appeal is there, and Detroit can battle for about a
Is it
half.
though? Is it though? Because the Eagles weren't feeding their RB1 when Miles Sanders was active. So
I mean, Gainwell was the third down back, and I mean he had a few boom weeks of catching passes.
sure, but now he's gonna get a thorn in the side called Boston Scott and Jordan Howard. So it's pretty
Yeah,
much the same thing.
yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. I just think it's Detroit. I care about the
That's true.
matchup.
That's true.
Like, but nonetheless, I'm going the three wideouts over Gainwell in this scenario.
For sure. I agree.
It just helps back up my sleeper. So
There you go,
with
Joe.
it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good squad too. Like Terry Young
Yeah,
and Sutton.
absolutely.
That's a
You
great
can't-
decision. A great
I don't
problem to
think you
have.
can really go wrong. I mean, Gainwell probably has the lowest floor, but I think the ceilings are similar just based on. I think he's a good football player. Like I enjoy
Sure.
watching him play. So he was someone I was high on in the offseason. I didn't really talk about it much because I wanted to steal him for myself and all my drafts, but it was it's good to see him playing. I think you can't go wrong. But yeah, it's a Gainwell.
All right, there you go, Joe. Good luck this week. For those watching on Twitter, just as a reminder, if you want to ask the questions, you have to go on YouTube. I do not see Twitter questions right now, unfortunately. So if you have any questions, go on YouTube or the Broto app. If you have it, there's a link to the stream on there, so you can ask all your start set questions, and we'll answer them. Next up, we have Daniel England again. He says Emmanuel Sanders or Robert Woods, half PPR. And man, I hate to say it, but I'm going Sanders here. I love my guy Woods, but just ironically, Houston has been terrible against wide receivers because teams get an early lead on them, and then they just run the ball, so wide receivers get no love, and they score very little points. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, I disagree personally.
Oh,
The logic makes sense. The logic makes sense. I just think that I'm never sitting Robert Woods. I mean, I'm never doing it. I'm never going to do it. People were crying about him all year. I don't have him anywhere. I looked at his stat lines. I didn't think they were bad at all. I didn't really. He didn't have like 20s, but he had a solid floor and just hadn't hit his ceiling yet. And people were just mad that he hadn't hit his ceiling. I think that team is going to pass regardless. Like even if they're up, I mean, if say they're up 28-0 at halftime, it's likely because of the passing game. Like, let's be honest. I mean, Darrell Henderson has been good, but I can't sit Robert Woods for Emmanuel Sanders. I know Sanders has been balling.
yes, he has.
There's just, I mean, and there is no Dawson Knox.
Are you talking yourself into Sanders right here, or? Because just a little tidbit of information: Sanders has averaged more points per game than Robert Woods so far as well.
Yeah, it's just so hard to trust Emmanuel Sanders over Robert Woods. Like, it just feels wrong. I'm still going Woods myself, but I can grasp why Sanders is a viable option. And you know what? Fuck it. Go Emmanuel Sanders. He's been playing hot. It's just that like they're playing what? They're playing Miami. And it could be a very similar situation, except the Bills hate running the football. So like whatever. They're gonna throw on 1st and 10 when there's 3 minutes left in the game, because why not? Like, fuck it. Go Sanders, I think. Do it.
Yeah. Just to cap off like this whole thing, Miami's third in points over average to wide receivers. So they're a very decent matchup. On the other hand, Houston is the fourth worst matchup for wide receivers. So when a team's so bad that teams get a big lead against them early, they don't have to pass and they don't have to be in comeback mode, which is what brings more points to wide receivers or tight games. So just wide receivers don't have to produce against them, and teams don't draw up like a lot of passing plays, and that becomes bad for fantasy. So Even though it's a soft defense, it's not good for wide receivers. So I think the consensus here is Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, I don't like it, but
Not me neither, but
I can understand why. Um,
for
it's
sure.
just it's tough. Like I don't know. It's tough. I like Robert Woods just too much to feel comfortable with it, but it kind of feels like a situation where I'm not sure you can go wrong. Um, like I don't know. I don't see Robert Woods having a bad day ever again in his life, but I could be wrong. So,
May he hear you.
yeah.
All good things for Woods. But yeah, go with Sanders this week, Daniel. Good luck this week. We have the man, the myth from the Broto Patron Discord. Big Whale. How you doing? Ugly choice this week between Mooney and Crowder, wide receiver 3.5 PPR. I think we already kind of talked about this. We do not want to start Crowder because he's getting passes from someone you've never heard of.
Yep.
So it's Mooney for us, I
I mean,
believe. So
listen, like especially in half PPR, I those options suck. But on the bright side, Mooney has double digits every other week, and he didn't have double digits last week. So this is the week. Uh, I don't want to go on a Bears rant or anything like that, but like I was high on Mooney this year. I was high on Fields going into this year. Um, like Matt Nagy's out for the week, which
oh yeah, that's good.
I hope is better. I think it's a little overblown. Like everybody's putting the blame on him, but the offensive line isn't helping Fields, and Fields isn't helping Fields. So
True.
I
Very true.
think like I don't think Mooney's a lock by any means, but I definitely prefer him this week. I'm starting him in two places this week because I hate myself. So I would go Mooney here, obviously. And let's just hope for those double digits this week.
For sure, I agree with that. And not much to it. Go with Mooney. I think if I was doing wide receiver sleepers this week, Mooney was someone I would consider because I like his chances for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Not even sure why I hate myself, but yeah, go
A
with
feeling.
Mooney.
Yeah.
We have one from the man Gianluca Martini, or Martini if you want to be fancy.
That was hot.
Amari Cooper or Leonard Fournette and flex half PPR. Now let me tell you, if Dak was fully healthy, this would be a tough question. For me, him being questionable or even likely out makes it a little bit easier because I don't want to deal with Cooper rush and his production. I don't want to suffer like that, especially when it's like probably your last player left and you will need a big performance to catch up
Mhm.
or secure the win. So I'm going with Fournette here.
Yeah, Fournette as well. Even if for my take, even if Dak were in, I'm going Fournette. Without hesitation.
All right.
I still don't think Cooper's been playing hurt all year. He hasn't been on the injury report all week after being on bye. So maybe he's healthy, but he had some hamstring injury. He had rib injury. He wasn't. He hasn't been playing great. The target share hasn't been there after week one. It's been pretty much everybody but him. He's somehow become like the fourth option behind Zeke. I don't know if Zeke's been catching passes, but in terms of usage, like Zeke is doing what he's always done and being a workhorse with some Pollard mixed in. Pollard's been playing great as well. And then you have CeeDee Lamb, who's taking the spotlight, and then Schultz, who is out targeting Cooper in the past 5 weeks or something like that. Like it just hasn't been pretty, even if Dak has been in. While I do think that changes, I think he's a great buy low candidate right now. I would have gone Fournette either way. Fournette is just locked into a workhorse role there, or close to a workhorse role. I mean, Ronald Jones is only coming in when they're up by 30 points.
Has been ugly.
Gio Bernard, same thing. Like sometimes he's maybe in a 2-minute drill or when the game's out of hand. It's just like I was huge on Fournette last year and he let me down. And I was off on him this year, and I was just a year too early, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Year too early on him, but what can you do? I think he's playing great. I think his usage is great. I'm going Fournette all the way.
Love it. I agree. So there you go, Gianluca. Have fun. Hopefully it works. We have another one from Daniel. Start Sanders. What about Robert Woods or Keenan Allen? Oh man, you're gonna hate me. I'm thinking about Allen here.
I'm going Allen.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going Keenan Allen.
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome.
maybe I'm a homer. Uh, I feel like they're very similar. They're being somewhat
Yes.
outproduced by a different wide receiver. And but the thing is that Keenan Allen is going to get 8 catches every game. I mean, that's just even if it's for 70 yards on
Yes.
a good
And they're
day.
going against New England too.
Yeah, I don't. The stats may say it's a bad matchup.
It's not.
Um,
It's the second best for wide receivers.
yeah, there it is. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, there's always this narrative that Bill Belichick is going to shut down their best player or
Nope.
whatever, and it's Keenan Allen. I start my studs. That's why I have a hard time sitting Woods. But
Yeah. True.
even in this case, like if Sanders is playing like a stud and Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen. I mean, I know he hasn't been lights out, but you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get 8 to 10 catches. You're gonna get 80 to 100 yards. Hope he falls into the end zone. I'm playing Keenan Allen every week, just
For
like I'm
sure.
normally playing Woods, but in this case, it seems like you have a pretty solid squad. So, I'm okay. I'm okay with sitting Woods based on the guys that you have in the matchups that are in front of you.
Yeah, I agree. I thought you were gonna go Woods here again, but
I wanted to,
we're
but
in agreement with Allen here.
Keenan
So
Allen is too good.
you go, Daniel. Hopefully it works out. If I mean, what we're saying, it's pretty much guaranteed that Robert Woods is gonna go like 150 for 3 TDs.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He's going to go ape shit. He's going to be the reason. He's going to be the reason that they stop throwing to the wide receivers because he's going to give them the lead. But you know,
It's very possible. But no, I would if it was my team, I would go with Sanders and Allen for sure. So there you go. All right, we have one from Matt is relaying this from the Twitter feed. It says Damon Harris or Khalil Herbert half PPR. Just before we answer, as a reminder, if you're on the Twitter feed and watching this, go on YouTube so you can ask the questions to us directly. I cannot see the Twitter comments, unfortunately, so go on YouTube for that, and I'll let you take the lead on this one.
This is tough. I'm gonna go Damian Harris.
All right.
I know Herbert did catch a ton of balls, which boosts his likelihood of putting up better points than Damian Harris. Just because Damian Harris doesn't catch passes. I don't really have a good reason, to be honest. So Damian Harris, I mean, the way that the Chargers defense works is that they tend to play umbrella. They play back. They try and stop the big play. I think that one of my sleeper considerations for the week was Mac Jones, because I think that the Chargers defense caters well to the Patriots offense of throw it short and run the shit out of the ball. I think Damian Harris is in line for a pretty solid week. It's just that he is one of those guys where you need 100 yards and a touchdown. Like because he's not going to catch passes. So I can see the appeal of Khalil Herbert here. I mean, he's been playing out of his ass, so I'm like it. Damian Harris might be unpopular. I have this weird feeling that you might disagree with me, but I'm going Damian Harris on this one. I think it's really close. I could be sold on Khalil Herbert for sure.
Well, think again, boy, because I'm agreeing with you. I'm going with Damian Harris here. Yeah. I don't love the matchup for Herbert. Now Damian Williams is back. I know he didn't play much last week, but he's coming off COVID, so that was about expected. He's still going to be a thorn in his side, and I know the Patriots RB room's nothing spectacular, but Damian Harris has been getting the ball, and I like it. If it was PPR, I would be leaning a little bit towards Herbert, but since it's half, I would start Damian Harris personally.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Fran, they're tough.
Yeah, they are tough.
Like, I think that front is pretty crazy, and I'm sure they're banged up somewhere. I'm sure they are.
Always.
But I mean, I think the Bears are going to have a problem like they always do. I mean, that's that. I know he had a great game last week against Tampa Bay, who nobody can run against. Like, I get it.
That's crazy, yeah.
Like, it is pretty absurd. But do you think Tampa was playing the run? Like, I know that doesn't matter much because they're still there, even if they're preparing for pass. but like, I don't know. Herbert, this is not a knock on Herbert in any way because the dude,
Yeah,
dude
yeah,
has been playing great. I just think that the matchup is better for Harris. I think he's more trustworthy for the time being. We have a very small sample size for Khalil Herbert. So that's why I'm leaning Damian Harris. But if someone thinks that Herbert is going to get what did he get last week? Like 90% of anything that running backs were doing, like in terms of usage. Like if you think the usage is going to be the same, then I can understand why you want to go Herbert over Harris. But the matchup isn't
yeah.
great. I'm not sure I totally trust that team in that situation. So it's Harris for me.
Yeah, I think I agree. Let's go with Harris, Twitter man. Hopefully this helps. Daniel says, "Thanks for the help. You're welcome, man.
No problem, my
Hopefully it
friend.
works out. Good luck this week." Right, we have another one from Big Will. He says, "Elijah Mitchell or Javonte Williams, half PPR, RB2. Would you consider the one you guys didn't choose, at the flex possibly?" I'm gonna let you in on something. For those who didn't read my article, Elijah Mitchell is my I was gonna say sleeper. No, he's my bust this week. So I would personally go with Javante here. I like him better, and I think Elijah Mitchell's usage last week was not a product of him specifically. It was more a product of the game and the weather, which played a big role. Also, he got no targets, which is very worrisome.
Mhm.
So I would personally go with Javonte Williams. I would consider Elijah Mitchell for my flex, depending on who your other options are, because he's going to get volume, and volume's always good. So it really depends on who else you have. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it goes. I'm going Javonte Williams just to start off, but Elijah Mitchell's in a very, very similar boat to Damian Harris. Um, it's another one
True.
of those things where you need 100 yards and a touchdown, and I'm not saying he can't do it because he's been playing well. I'm going Javonte Williams. I mean, I'm a Javonte Williams homer, so this doesn't really this is probably a little biased, but I don't really think it is. I think I'd rather Javonte Williams at 50% of the snaps instead of Elijah Mitchell at 70% of the snaps.
For sure.
Javonte Williams eventually is taking over. I don't fucking know when. Ridley is out. Who Ridley?
Look at that. Calvin Ridley, I'm assuming.
Bro, no.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Let me just get our banner out. Breaking news. Calvin Ridley is out this week. More at 11.
Bro. All right, whatever. I'll worry about that later. That shit's for me. But basically what I was saying was that like Javonte Williams is playing exceptionally well. I think eventually they give him the reins because maybe they don't, but I'm optimistic they will. He's been playing very solid. Him and Taylor are the only two running backs in the NFL that have 3 carries of 30 or more yards. Javonte Williams is a bulldozer. He breaks tackles. He's very strong. He's been getting catches out of the backfield. He's had like 3 catches for the past 4 games or 5 games in a row as a minimum. I mean, it's been like 3, 3, 3, 3, 6. But anyway, he's been playing well. Even in a split, he's putting up a floor of 8 points. If he scores, he's 14 plus. So I think Javonte Williams is the play. And even though Mitchell is your bust, it depends on what the other options are. But I would consider him as a flex for sure.
Yeah, if you want to list other options, we can give you a little bit more info. But he is someone I would consider. Not my favorite, but he gets volume. Also, new piece of breaking news. Jamal Williams is also out.
Holy cow.
Confirmed. So if you have Jamal Williams, which I know I do, you have to sub him out. That is huge news right here.
Wow.
Shout out, Matt.
Oh my God. DeAndre Swift is going to be the RB1 overall this week. What?
Bro,
is that what I heard?
Yo, quick flex. Go check out my rankings right now. He's the RB1 overall this week in my rankings right now. So
let's go. Choo choo. Oh, I need to put my Swift picture out after this. Oh, I'm so hyped.
There you go. Check it out. In before it was cool. But shout out, man, for letting us know that Jamal Williams is out.
That's awesome.
All right, another one from Big Will. He says, "How nervous are you fellas for the Cowboys offense as Dak is officially out?" I mean, we've already said a little bit. Will you start the studs on the Cowboys or try to lean elsewhere? I think it depends, right? Depends on the team.
Yeah, I mean, CeeDee Lamb and Zeke are never leaving my lineup. I don't care who the quarterback is.
Completely agree.
We talked about it with Higbee and Schultz earlier. If I have a viable tight end replacement, I think it's hard. but depending on who it is, I'm not against sitting Schultz. It's not a lock for me to sit Schultz. Like I think he's been playing well enough to earn the spot in my lineup. I think
I mean, I think that's mostly a product of Dak.
maybe, but it's also like shitty quarterbacks. Like something I was going to talk about with Crowder is that rookies and young quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks do have a tendency to throw to the tight end in the slot more, supposedly. I don't know. This is what people say. I haven't done research, but that's what people say. So like there's a shot that he just gets a target hound because he doesn't want to throw outside the sticks or he doesn't want to throw farther downfield. I don't trust Cooper Rush at all, but I don't think he's a terrible play, even if Dak isn't playing. I mean, I expect it to be a shootout there, regardless of who the quarterback is for the Cowboys. Cooper, I'm more likely to sit Cooper than I am to sit Schultz, and that's very fucking weird for me to say out loud. I just think he's been playing well. I mean, that's it. And one has been playing well. One, Cooper's been scoring the past 2 weeks, but his targets were not there at all. I think the locks for me to play are Zeke and Lamb.
Agree.
Dak is out. Everybody else, I'm checking other options to see what's going on there.
For sure, I agree. It really depends on if you have other options. If you do, I would go pivot away. Schultz, maybe, depending on who are your other options, like Higbee is a great option to substitute in. Cooper, it's a little bit more easier to find a replacement wide receiver. And Zeke, you're starting. Lamb, you're probably starting, and that's it. Correct? Yep. Just a little bit more info. Calvin Ridley is out on a personal issue, non-injury related.
Personal issue again, huh?
Yeah, happened 2 weeks ago. So this is it's a little bit concerning going forward because there is no timetable for personal issues. So it's not an ankle injury, it's not anything we can sort of estimate. It's a personal issue, so we don't know how long he'll be out. Jamal Williams is out with his hip injury. So
wow, I honestly didn't expect that from Jamal Williams. I thought it was this.
Me too.
This Detroit Lions questionable shit that they do every single week and never actually
used to it, don't you?
Like it's crazy. I've been talking to our friend Boyd about it every week. I'm like, please just take them off the injury report if they're not injured. Hurt, because then shit like this happens. I mean, not like I'm starting Jamal Williams anywhere. I know you have Williams in the league that I have Ridley.
Yes. I have Williams in a couple places. I think I'm currently not, but I am starting him in my home league, so I have to pivot. I had Saquon and Jamal, so this is going to be ugly. All right, so moving on, we have one from Charles. Hope you guys have a good week. Thank you. So PPR, Booker or Chuba? What are your thoughts?
I'm
personally going with Chuba.
I'm going Chuba.
Yeah, there you go. Easy as that.
I mean, he's been reliable. He hasn't lit the world on fire like people hoped, of course, because that's just how. Because he's not McCaffrey.
People's obsession with backup running backs is very dangerous, man.
Yeah. The only backup that I have expectations to be similar to their
starter counterpart
is probably like Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And believe it or not, I mean, I don't want to go on a tangent because it doesn't really answer the question, but I think Madison is pretty good, bro. I think Madison is pretty good. And when Cook is out, he gets usage and he fucking performs. He got a lot of hate because he had one bad game when Cook was out last year.
Yeah.
So like people don't like him. I think he's pretty solid. But anyway,
back to the real question.
Yeah, I'm going Chuba here. Booker is okay. I just don't. It's just like the Jets. It's just hard for me to rely on the Giants very often. He hasn't been Barkley. That's for sure. Like, I mean, Kansas City is a good matchup for offenses right now. But are they going to be running the ball? No, they're not going to be running the ball because Kansas City is going to play better. I don't know how much longer they can suck or be not good. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going Chuba here. It's really no contest.
Yeah, I agree. Some more breaking news coming in right now as we hit the official time. Odell Beckham Jr. is playing, confirmed. T.Y. Hilton is also playing, confirmed. As we said, Jamal Williams and Calvin Ridley will be out, and Corey Davis is also out. So there you go. The Jets offense gets even worse. How fun is that?
It's
Now,
so
let me
gross.
talk a little bit about the Jets here.
Sure.
Well, no, never. No, yeah. Let me, because this has to do with my sleepers. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a little intermission with sleepers and busts.
Sure.
Now, the Jets. Who do they have? They have not Crowder. Sorry, Corey Davis who's injured. Zach Wilson who's injured. Uh, that's their QB and likely their number one receiver.
Hmm.
They have been terrible this year and are facing a very powerful looking Cincinnati offense.
Absolutely.
So I expect them to go down by 30 in the first half, pretty much. I don't know what the lines say in Vegas, but whatever it is, it's too low. So my sleeper here is Samaje Perine. Why? Because we saw last week that when garbage time comes, Cincinnati would rather protect Mixon rather than have him injured like he did a couple years ago in the final minutes of the game. So they got a pretty even split in carries because of garbage time. Yeah, Mixon people will tell you, yeah, of course, it was only garbage time. When the game matters, Mixon is in. And that's fine, but this game is not going to matter. So Samaje Perine, and Chris Evans is also confirmed out. So Samaje
Yep.
Perine might get 13, 14 touches, maybe a touchdown. I expect him to be very involved, and that's why he's my sleeper this week. Great matchup, a lot of garbage time, and he's a clear and only backup. I'm loving Samaje Perine this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I have P Ryan against me, and I was like, of course I do. Like at first I was like, what is this? And then I read your sleeper, and then I saw that Evans was out, and I was like, oh,
There you
of
go.
course I have Samaje P Ryan against me, right? Like
Oh, awful.
it's unfortunate, but yeah, you make some pretty good points there, and like, what did you say? Did you say the Jets? Like
Oh,
you
the
said,
Jets are the worst against
yeah.
running back.
And what was the points above average?
It's
The
over
percentage?
100% points for average.
100%?
Yeah,
I thought
so
that
I
was
mean,
hyperbole.
no, it's 101%. So
You
running
texted me
backs,
about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good example." You
no,
weren't
it's
kidding.
legit real. Like running
Oh my
backs score
god.
on average twice the points they normally
Yeah.
score against the Jets. I think that's a little bit ballooned by the incredible Patriots performance against them. Like Bolden was involved, JJ Taylor was
Mhm.
involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, it's not going to be really double points. But I think you can expect at least a 50% point increase against the Jets,
Sure.
especially if they're going to be losing by a lot. So that also matters when it comes to running back performance. This is just a prime matchup for Mixon. Hopefully, maybe they don't pull him as fast as I expect. But Samaje Perine is also like getting a very big boost.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get back to some questions. We have another one from Joe. It says, I forgot to ask Tony as well. So Terry, Johnson, Sutton, Gainwell, and Tony.
Changes nothing for me.
Yeah.
Tony's going to be a game time decision. I don't, and it's on Monday night.
Monday
I'm
night's
not risking
dangerous.
that. I'm not sitting guaranteed players for someone that may not play. I mean, listen, if he plays, I think he's going to be good, but I'm certainly not sitting Terry McLaurin or Deontay Johnson for him. And Sutton, even though I've said time and time again that I like Judy more, the matchup is too good to pass up. He's going to be on the field. And if for some reason, like, Judy could come back, and I mean, I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. He could re-injure himself. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? And even then, Sutton is even better than he already is. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen. I'm not gonna risk putting in Kadarius Toney. If I knew he were healthy, I would start him over Gainwell, but that's about it. I don't think I can sit Sutton. I don't think I can sit him for Toney.
Yeah. I mean, this ties a little bit into the next question. So there you go, Joe. We're not starting Tony with that lineup personally, like the one you have. But this question is a little bit more interesting because Alejandro has LaVisca or Tony. That's that's a little bit tougher, not gonna lie. Because you're risking a Monday night matchup, which is never great with
Yeah.
a limited or injured player. He said the Tony's traveling with the team, so he's likely playing. But still, how limited is he going to be? Are you ready to
I mean,
like be nervous on Monday night whether or not Tony's going to put up the points you need?
what's his injury? Is it like an ankle sprain or like a
Hmm.
I can look it up. I can look it up. You ran for a minute. I can look it up.
All right. It's funny that you asked this question because Tony has been compared to LaVisca a lot by fantasy people. They had like similar profiles, big dudes who also rush a little bit. Um I think on equal standing ground, it's a very difficult question, and I would probably lean Tony. But the fact that he is probably limited or questionable and playing on Monday night, I just
Yeah.
don't like that at all. Because you might, if he doesn't go or he's heavily limited, you're going to be ended up with 0 to 5 points on your starting lineup when you need a win on Monday night. So play it safe, play LaVisca. I don't like it, but
Yeah,
it's a safer option.
I agree. And it is an ankle sprain for Kadarius Toney, and those are like without proper rest, like true rest, that's very easy to re-aggravate. And his volatility, I think, is very much increased if he does play.
Yes.
It does sound like that he's trending toward playing, but it's not as as surefire as like Shepard, for example, who's said out loud like I'm very confident I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
Tony's a little more murky. So, like I said before, I don't like Laviska Chenault by any means. Like he doesn't really do it for me. But once again, I'm gonna go with the safer option in Tony, unless if like Slayton is out there on a waiver wire and you have a drop. But I don't like I did that in a league that I have Tony. I'm
There you go. That's a good strategy.
I'm sitting on Slayton. And if Tony doesn't go, I have Slayton. If Tony goes, I throw him in, even if it's risky.
Yeah, that's a good strategy if you really want to play Tony. Just try and get someone who will play Monday night confirmed, so you can pivot last second if need be.
Mm-hmm.
If not, play LaVisca because otherwise you're risking like a high percentage chance that you get a bad point output from him. So there you go, Alejandro. Good luck with that. Hopefully it works out. Okay, we have a follow up from Big Will. The one from before. So Mitchell, Ayuk, McKissick, or Crowder have PPR and flex.
Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's my bust, but you have to go with Mitchell if you have those options. Now, my favorite, quote unquote, out of these guys is McKissick, but still, he doesn't get the volume he needs to outperform Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yep.
Easy as that. We have a difficult one coming up from Big Will as well. So Hunter Henry or Dalton Schultz at tight end.
Oh, I'm going Hunter Henry. It's a revenge game.
There you go. If you like those narratives,
it's
I get you.
It's kind of a joke. Hunter Henry's just been playing. I just think objectively better than Jonnu Smith. He's been getting more usage. Fortunately, I never really understood the disparity between Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry in drafts. I feel like everybody was in on Jonnu for his athleticism and him coming out of the backfield and getting rushes and all this shit. Like Hunter Henry, when playing football, is better than Jonnu Smith. Like Jonnu Smith is an athlete.
True.
He's a very good athlete, but Hunter Henry is a very good tight end. And I think a lot of people just overlooked Hunter Henry for some reason. Like maybe because Jonnu Smith got signed first. I don't remember the order. I know it was like on the same day.
And they had the same money too. So
yeah, so like it was hard, but Hunter Henry is a good football player. And like they both are, but I love Hunter Henry. I think he's solid. Once again, it's I think the matchup is really good for him in terms of how the Chargers play defense. And if you want some cherry on top, there's the revenge game narrative, which is always fun.
Yeah,
always
it is. It really is.
Even if it's not true. Like,
but sometimes it works. Like maybe it's just a little bit of coincidence and magic there, but sometimes it works and it's beautiful. So yeah, I agree with Hunter Henry. I really don't want to start Dalton Schultz with Cooper Rush, man. I think his production has been 75% Dak because volume is everything. And if the QB is not throwing on you the ball, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not going to get points. So I think Dak's responsible for a lot of that. Dalton Schultz is a very nice player, but if Cooper Cooper, not Cooper Cup,
Cooper
Cooper
Rush.
Rush decides not to target him at all, what can we do? So yeah, go with Hunter Henry. It's I think it's unanimous here. All right, one more. We have Jerry Judy. Will you take a chance of playing him over Mike Williams against New England, or Herbert against San Francisco in the flex?
I'm starting him over Khalil Herbert. I would not start him over Mike Williams.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Not like it matters. Is it PPR?
If we're talking about the same league, it's half PPR.
Okay. I don't think it matters. In half PPR, I would say it moves Herbert up a little bit, but I'm all in on Judy. I'm putting all my eggs in that basket, and I'm not
you
scared.
are. Bold claim time. Guarantee. Crunch time guarantee.
Can't see. It was so much. It was so much. The only guarantee. The only guarantee that I can give on this episode is that DeAndre Swift will finish the week as the RB1 overall. But you already said that.
It here.
You already said that. So this is a joint thing. This isn't just me this time. You want a guarantee? I can give you a guarantee. You ready for this?
All right, I'm ready. Hit
in PPR formats, Jerry Judy will outperform Cortland Sutton 100%. That is a guarantee. He will finish better than Sutton.
There you go. But yeah, Mike Williams is in a good spot too, so I wouldn't start him over Mike.
Yeah,
but over Herbert is looking nice. So there you go, Judy and Mike starting. Well, so good luck this week. All right, want to tell us a little bit about your sleeper this week?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, it ties in. It ties in well with the Jerry Judy love. But my sleeper for this week is unfortunately Teddy Bridgewater. I said this earlier in the episode. I don't think that he's very good. Actually, my hot take in the preseason was that Drew Lock was gonna start over Teddy Bridgewater and finish the year as a QB1. So here we are, incredibly wrong. But my hot take last year was that Mike Williams was going to overtake Keenan Allen and outperform him. So I think I might just be a year too early on the Drew Lock wagon. But nonetheless, my sleeper is Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Checkdown. He has a magical matchup this week with the Washington football team, who's allowing the most points to opposing quarterbacks this year with 26.6. And they're also allowing a 32% increase over average, which means that basically when quarterbacks are playing against Washington, they perform 32% higher than they normally do on average. So they're dead last in defense. Plus, Jerry Judy's back, and I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to make the offense more coherent as a whole. It's been a lot of Sutton, some Tim Patrick, some Fant, and then the running backs. Now I think it's going to be a good amount of Sutton, a good amount of Judy, and then it just frees up the space for everybody to run around. It makes the offense better, and I just think this is an amazing matchup. I just can't pass it up. I mean, he's already got 4 top 15 finishes this year, Teddy Bridgewater, and 2 QB1 performances, which were QB11 and QB12. So he's been solid. He hasn't been great because he's not great. But that is my sleeper for this week is Teddy Bridgewater.
All right. So if you have Dak and you're worried about him and want to be safe with it, go see if Theodore Edmund Bridgewater Jr. is available in your waiver wire. That's his name. That's his real name.
I mean, it's not a bad. It's not.
It's a pretty cool name. I love it. But yeah, go pick him up. He's a pretty decent sleeper. Nick, I just gotta be honest. Nick is way better at picking sleepers than me, so trust his sleeper advice with your life.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I had Dak in a league and I had no other options, I would try and see if I had Teddy Bridgewater available to pick him up. I already talked a little bit about my bust, Elijah Mitchell. I don't think his volume is as much a product of him as it was the game, because when it's raining, you want to hand off to your running back a lot, maybe check down to the running back a lot. Now, the worrisome part in that scenario is that Mitchell actually didn't get any targets, like 0 targets all game. JaMychal Hasty got all the RB targets. So going forward in a more normal game without a hurricane, You can, I mean, that
Yeah.
was an insane game. You can expect a lot of fewer carries, I believe, and now they're facing a tough Chicago defense. That's I'm personally not trusting Elijah Mitchell. I've always thought he was a not good pickup with Fab, especially because we never know who the Kyle Shanahan favorite running back of the week is, and he's a very moody man, so you never know what he might do.
Yeah.
That's why I don't trust him in general, especially now that we have seen a little bit of how they're planning on using him. So that's my bust. What about your bust?
So my bust is Tua,
Ooh,
which was your sleeper last week, and I
it
think
was.
he
He
was
was.
like the QB3 on the week, maybe
He
the
was very good.
QB1. He was my article and my Fantasy Pros research said that he was QB3. But and he's my bust this week. He's had amazing matchups versus Jacksonville and Atlanta, who
Yeah.
are the third and fifth most favorable matchups, respectively. And now he is facing the Bills, who are allowing, wait
Yep.
for it, drum roll, please, 11 points per game to the quarterback position. And
Awful.
that
Awful.
is ridiculous. That
Yeah,
is
that's
absurdly
insane.
ridiculous. Listen, I I wasn't a Tua fan like coming into the year. I drafted him, and anyway, because everyone stole all my quarterbacks for me in my draft, unfortunately.
Yep.
Brady and Mahomes are on the same team, and Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen are on the same team, and neither will trade them to me, which is really annoying. Not the
Nice.
point.
Nice. Love it.
Anyway, so I think even though Tua has performed better than I thought he was going to, I'll be honest. I feel like when he's been playing healthy, he's been playing pretty solid. Unfortunately, the last time they played the Bills, he had one completion on 4 attempts for 13 yards and then got hurt. Let's really hope that doesn't happen again because I'm sick of seeing Tua get hurt. It's really sad,
Yeah, it's
honestly.
awful, man.
He can't seem to catch a break, and it sounds like all the press around Tua is all negative, but he's been positive anyway. The Dolphins are heading into Buffalo to a team that is already amazing on defense. They're the best defense in the NFL right now
Yep.
by far. And not even for fantasy purposes, just in general.
So good.
11 points per game and a 37% decrease in average
Insane.
points. I can't start him this week, even though he's been playing pretty well. He's been a QB1 the past 2 weeks after coming off injury. Even though it's probably going to be a shootout because Miami's defense has sucked and the Bills' offense has been awesome. And even with a shootout, I just don't. I think everybody on that team has to be discounted. The only thing that I justified earlier was that Jalen Waddle should get a ton of targets, and that can boost his PPR floor. But I'm fading like every Dolphin I can. Unfortunately, I have to start Gaskin in a couple of leagues, but
Oof.
my bust is Tua. The matchup is horrible, but if someone drops him next week,
Pick him
I
up.
might go after him because
Oh,
people
yeah.
might see him shit the bed, be like, okay, Tua sucks. They might trade for Deshaun Watson, blah 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 blah, and then he's on the waiver
Hate that.
wire, and then you can scoop him up and maybe get a solid starter for the rest of the year if things go as planned. So, this week I'm out on him though. Tua is very very hard to trust. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, just as a tidbit of information, it was reported this morning that the Texans are not expected to trade Deshaun before the deadline. So
Cool.
if a trade were to happen, it would be after the deadline. I mean, it's still just a terrible situation all around, and I don't like it one bit, especially for Tua, man. I mean, I really feel bad for him. You have his coach telling him like, "We don't want you." Like he even said in an interview that he doesn't feel wanted. It's just a bad situation for him. He has been balling, so I hope that after the Bills, you can scoop him up. He gets a bounce back. That would be pretty cool for him.
I mean, also if I'm wrong and Tua balls out against the Bills,
Oh, that would be awesome.
then I'm very excited for him moving forward. I mean,
Oh yeah,
eventually I hope he gets Will Fuller back as well. Things after this week should only get better for him. I would hope. So
for sure.
Yeah, just this week, please stay away. For the love of God, do anything you can. Start anybody else. Maybe not Cooper Rush, but
that's the only guy you want to start over him. Yeah, I agree. Maybe even Trey Lance is a good option because positive points. I mean, 0 points is better than negative points. So
that's fair.
No, I'm kidding. Just don't start Tua.
It might rush into the end zone. You never know. You could get 6.2.
Hey, there you go. Anyway, I think that's all the time we have for today. It was a great show. Thank you all
Yes,
for
sir.
joining us. I mean, I just have so much fun. Thank you. Thanks everyone for tuning in, for your questions. I was, of course, Wednesday Adams. My
Yes.
co-host was, of course, Soka. And have a fantastic week 8.